Dragons in Tears of the Kingdom are strong, unyielding human desires, fervent wishes, manifested and given physical form with a mind of their own. In this video, we will discuss why this is the case, as well as the likely origin of the three Zonai Dragons. If you find this subject matter interesting, subscribe to the channel. It will help to keep our research effort going. The following will contain spoilers for the story of Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, including the final boss. This is your warning. You still here? Alright, then grab your cup of chocolate or other beverage of your choice, get comfy, and let us begin. All dragons were human ones, in a broad sense anyway. As we've learned from Mineru, they are created through the process known as draconification. If a wielder of the secret stone was to swallow it, the stone will turn them into a dragon, an immortal beast, possessing the power beyond comprehension. While secret stones already increase the magical strength of their wielders when worn, swallowing them causes that magical strength to surge and expand exponentially. To become a dragon is comparable to becoming a god. However, that might come at a cost. To become a dragon is to lose yourself. Lose your mind, your personality, your consciousness. Everything that makes you, you. Zelda likened her extraordinarily long time spent as a dragon to being asleep. This is why it is forbidden. Now, with that knowledge, I'd like you to imagine that you are in possession of a secret stone. It amplifies your powers, whatever those might be. It's cool. Awesome even! With the secret stone and the strength it grants you, you are automatically in a position of power. You probably were a high-ranking official or a royal to acquire that stone in the first place anyway. So, being that person, why would you ever dare eat the forbidden gummy? Seriously, why would you? I know being a dragon is cool, I am one, but realistically, turning would only have two tangible benefits for you, and the price for them is your ability to actually enjoy either. Frankly, saying that turning into a dragon grants immortality is extremely misleading. No, in truth, immortality is a property of the dragon itself. The person swallowing the stone doesn't gain it. The person swallowing the stone gives their life so that the dragon might have it. By that logic, anyone who dares swallow a secret stone must have a really damn good reason for it. Something, a wish, a desire they value above their own life. One they are willing to actually give their life for. While dragons come from people, in truth, they are actually born of desires. From people making the ultimate sacrifice in return for having their desires realized, even though they themselves are no longer there to see it. In a sense, these people aren't transforming into dragons but rather creating them, using their own bodies as a component. That is what a dragon is. It is a being created to further a single goal, whatever that goal might be. From that point of view, it makes sense that the original consciousness is lost in the process of draconification. A dragon, while it shares the characteristics with the original person, no longer is that person. It is its own creature with its own mind, though that mind is very different to that of a human. Emotionless, laser-focused, uncaring, unyielding, unempathetic. There is only a single wish. The last thought of a person swallowing the stone. It is the only reason for the dragon's existence, and it is bound to that wish. It will pursue it, no matter what. With that in mind, let us examine the 5 different dragons, shall we? First, Zelda. Zelda desired to protect her kingdom from the inevitable return of the Demon King. To that end, the dragon she created took care of the Master Sword. It refused to come anywhere near the surface for ages, just to keep the broken blade away from any people of ill intent who could try to take it away. Even when Link himself finally reached the head of the dragon, it fought before finally giving up the sword it held safe for so long. It is also frequently seen guiding Link. It definitely recognizes him and is aware of his destiny. When Link is brought to the Great Sky Island, it is circling nearby, as if in anticipation, and breaks the cloud barrier for him as soon as it sees the Master Sword leave for its voyage through the ages. It keeps a close eye on Link's adventures, so that when the last of the memories is viewed, it approaches and sheds one last tear to present the swordsman with a final confirmation of the Master Sword's whereabouts. When the sword is retrieved, it brings Link all the way back to the Temple of Time to place him down safely as it flies away. And then, during the final showdown, when the demon dragon emerged from underneath the Hyrule castle, Light Dragon was ready. It swooped in immediately to aid Link in his fight against the humongous immortal beast. Light Dragon embodies a desire to, very specifically, protect the kingdom from the Demon King. Of course it would be the only dragon to act and join the fight. Analogically, the Demon Dragon embodies Ganondorf's deep aversion to light. I bet that is due to a skin condition he unfortunately inherited from his great-great-grandmother, Queen Dorferina. Anyway, similar to Zelda, Ganondorf, when faced with imminent defeat, decides to swallow his secret stone. At this point, he is at the verge of death anyway, and his wish to destroy Hyrule and shroud it in darkness was more important to him than any attempt he could have made at that moment to save himself. He desires that wish to be carried out, even if he isn't there anymore to see it. So, he gives his life, or what remains of it, and creates the Black God of Hatred. Thus, the Demon Dragon is a being bent on destruction. It is an immortal desire given form, and it will not rest until it sees its goal realized. It is hateful and aggressive, covered in gloom. Had Link and Light Dragon not been able to stop it right then, Hyrule would meet its end. The land would become shrouded by everlasting darkness and infested with monsters. Nature burned down until naught but ash was left, entire mountains leveled, and if anyone were to survive this madness, they would have only the Light Dragon, tiny and delicate next to the monster that is the Demon Dragon, remaining to give them hope for a better future. The Light Dragon itself would still seek to protect any remaining survivors and to find a way to defeat the Demon Dragon. Would it be able to do it? That I do not know. Other than these two, there are 3 more dragons remaining. Those are the Zonai Dragons. We know they are Zonai because their manes match the hair Zonai used to have, and their big floppy ears look a lot like those that Zonai possess. The exact story of these 3 is unknown, but, given all that we've discussed just before, a lot of it can be assumed with a decent degree of confidence. The 3 Zonai Dragons serve their respective springs. Their scales and claws, pulsing with power, can be offered to the spring upon a successful completion of a hunt, strengthening the magic flowing through the waters. No, I'm not making it up. This is not a theory, it is literally what happens. Between both adventures, stages of the springs inform Link that to shoot a dragon and offer its scale to the spring is a sacred rite, and that in order to provide the spring with additional power, an offering of a dragon claw is required. These 3 dragons are forever tied to the springs, and their sole purpose is to keep them safe and provide them with power. Along with Zonai ritual clothing, also suggesting that these dragons have ties to religious worship, it is not unreasonable to assume that all 3 were created as a direct result of cult devotion, more than likely during a ritual ceremony. This is why the 3 Zonai Dragons absolutely do not care about any calamity that is currently befalling the kingdom, as long as it doesn't threaten the springs. While Zelda wished to protect the entire kingdom, these 3 wished to serve the springs and springs only. With that said, the more astute of you might point out the obvious flaw with that logic, namely that the Nrol has been seen serving something other than a spring at least twice. Its horns have been turned into targets by ancient Sheikah for the purpose of a champion trial. But honestly, looking at this from a perspective, I don't think the dragon is an active participant of this trial. It just does what it always did, and simply does not care about Sheikah holo-projecting a force field onto its horns and rendering it visible to people other than those spiritually attuned. The trial changes nothing for it. It just is, and the Nrol is, and that is all there is to it. It is being shot at, and so what? Arrows don't harm it, and being shot at is an important part of all the ancient rites it was a part of anyway. The only question remaining is, what happens with a dragon who has fulfilled its purpose? Does it die? Does it make sad, pointless circles in the sky for the rest of eternity? Does it find a new goal? Or is its mind unlocked and free will is bestowed upon it? There is nothing we can do but speculate on the matter, as we are not shown what would happen to Zelda had Raru and Sonia not intervened from beyond the grave. And unfortunately for us and our theorizing, the choice task of the Zonai Dragons never really ends. As a dragon myself, personally, I'd like to think that a dragon who fulfilled the wish of its creator becomes freed and gains a will of its own. At the same time, however, I find it much more likely that such a spirit would either move on to the closest generalization and continue, or simply scatter into particles of magic and vanish. I do wonder, is this the reason why the combined power over light and time of Raru and Sonia was able to dispel the draconic form and bring Zelda back in this very specific moment out of all the times it could have been done before? A lot to think about. Big thank you to my draconic sages, Jardent, Von Bob, Moxie Watts, Ibab Flow, and Fiona. If you'd like to join their ranks, you can support me on Patreon or via YouTube membership. Also, I have hidden 5 tiny sminks all over this video. Let me know in the comments which ones you have spotted. Thank you for listening, and good night!